Hey guys, it's Misha and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about some TikTokers, most of which are Gen Zers, of course, but they are actually missing lockdowns and hoping we have another pandemic. So why is it weird to miss the quarantine days, right? Why is that odd? If you know anyone that was sick with it, or maybe you had it, you know it is not a pleasant experience. So already there's that. The vaccine mandates and mask mandates, a lot of people lost their jobs, businesses were closing down, quarantine aesthetic, lockdown core. It was just not a very glamorous time at all. But certain people said, no, this is actually great. Let me ignore all the people that are suffering, how mental health actually got worse for many, many people, because believe it or not, being isolated for a prolonged period of time is not good for you. It's not good for your physical health and it's not good for your mental health. To sit alone in your room for days on end. What? Who could have guessed? So I think those romanticizing this probably aren't thinking about other people. Yeah, there seems to be this issue with narcissism because you had a good time and then you forget about people that maybe lost a loved one or lost their job or couldn't finish school or had to postpone that and who suffered because of these restrictions. If you can remember, some people had curfews. So I think it's one thing to sit back and have that choice to go out or not go out. Some people could not go out even if they wanted to. So to pray for another pandemic, for another lockdown, is very strange, especially when we're seeing this Mpox situation. The word privilege gets thrown around a lot nowadays, but I do think that this has to be coming from people who are privileged in the sense that they could just stay at home. They don't have to worry about where they're getting their money, how they're going to feed themselves and their family, and they can play video games all day. And they can watch their favorite show. And they could make whipped coffee. That's one of the specific things people were bringing up. Remember those lockdown days, yeah, and how we were making whipped coffee. Who is stopping you from doing that now? If you have enough time to make this TikTok, you have enough time to make the whipped coffee. We don't need another pandemic for that. So to romanticize it without acknowledging everyone else that suffered, I think it's quite tone deaf. Now, that being said, there is a way to say, well, I actually enjoyed having that alone time or having a slower pace of life, for example.
It was undoubtedly a terrible time, and I desperately wanted to go see my family, and I was afraid of getting laid off like everybody else around me was. I found this weird comfort in being stuck at home all the time and just seeing the world stop for a minute. You're not missing out on anything. There's nothing out there. Nobody is having fun without you. There's a strange comfort in knowing that everybody is experiencing the same thing.
All of this, by the way, is coming from someone who is more introverted, all right? I have my moments. I could be more outgoing sometimes, but overall, I would say I'm more of an introvert. In the beginning, when we didn't really know what was going on and we were sent home, I was a senior in high school and I thought, amazing. We packed our things and we went home, and turns out that was the last time we stepped foot in that school for most of us, right? Now, a lot of people were upset. A lot of people wanted to attend all the events and social gatherings that you would usually partake in during your senior year. Me, on the other hand, and my close friends, we were like, well, we could live without that. Just give us our diploma. We're good. Wow, I can finish up my classes online. I have more free time. I can watch my favorite shows and movies that I've been meaning to watch. This is the life. But then you realize, oh, okay. But it's kind of like the same day over and over again. And you can't really go out and socialize even when you want to. And when you can, it's a lot more difficult. And you learn that after some time, being isolated in that way, first of all, it gets boring. Second of all, it's not good for you. It's good to leave the house. It's good to socialize, even if you don't like it. Like I said, I have my moments in large crowds or hanging out. And then all of a sudden, my social battery completely runs out and I need to be alone, or I will go insane. So I totally get certain people like having that alone time, like having that excuse. Like, wow, everyone's doing this now. I'm not the weirdo here. Everyone's at home. Although when I started university and had to take the first year online and had to listen to all that commie they them crap every day, that was a bit difficult. Yeah. You know what would have really helped me though during those lockdown days? Especially when I was bombarded with all that woke nonsense with my online courses? Signing up for Daily Wire Plus. Did you know that the Daily Wire sued the Biden administration over the vaccine mandates and won? Because I didn't, but now that I do, I respect them even more. They also do an amazing job of exposing the leftist insanity in very entertaining ways. For example, they had their iconic documentary, What is a Woman?, which I love, which is a must-see. And you can watch it by signing up. You'll get access to their full library where you can find these documentaries and podcasts and leftist tears Imagine you at your woke university and Emily's talking about her they them pronouns and you're just drinking out of this. Daily Wire Plus is the platform to go to find your favorite uncensored ad-free content from people like Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Jordan Peterson, and more. Now's the perfect time to join too, because they're offering a 40% off annual memberships discount for Labor Day. So you guys should definitely go sign up right now. The link is in my description. Okay, now back to lockdowns. A lot of people, because of this sort of isolation, experience heightened levels of anxiety, of depression. So while it may seem great at first to be able to work from home all the time, to do your classes from home, to put it on twice the speed like I did and multitask, it may seem great at first. And I think that if you're more introverted, right, we have to acknowledge that we're more susceptible to that kind of lifestyle even after a pandemic. And that's why it's so important to push yourself out of your comfort zone, right? That's the problem, I think, with Gen Z in general, is that a lot of us, we're always just looking for comfort. We feel like we're entitled to always being comfortable, doing the bare minimum, no one can get offended, God forbid, right? Well, that's not life. That's surviving. Right? You can stay at home, you can be comfortable 24/7, but if you're never taking risks, if you're never stepping outside of your comfort zone, that is not living. Plus, an important thing to consider for the people that are romanticizing this is that not everyone's living situation is the same. So while you were able maybe to go home and relax and spend time with your family, some people had abusive family members perhaps. Some people, like I said, could not support themselves. So it's really important for us to remember that not everyone's life is sunshine and rainbows, even if it seems like that. That's just something to think about before posting a video about how much you love the pandemic, how much you hope we have more lockdowns.
I know monkeypox sounds scary, but is anybody else praying for a quarantine? Please? I feel like I just didn't do the first one right. So go ahead and lock it down. Lock it up!
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything.
People are more disconnected from reality. They go to their games, they go to their shows, and that can be a very addicting thing. They go to social media, right? And it may seem that you're making connections online perhaps, or you're getting immersed in this fantasy world, whatever the case may be. But regardless of that, most of the time, that really is just preventing you from improving your social skills, if that's something you struggle with, right? If that's why it's difficult for you to go out and socialize. And a more extreme version of this, something we've already talked about, is hikikomori. And that's the term they use in Japan for people who don't work, don't go to school. They just sit in their room, usually living off their parents. They're relying on them for financial support. And they just, like I said, play games, read, go on their phones, get an AI girlfriend, an AI boyfriend. You listen to these people, to their interviews. They're not content with that lifestyle. But the problem is a lot of the time is that there's already a pre-existing mental health issue going on that further prevents them from re-entering society. Like autism is a popular one I remember we heard, and ADHD and OCD and things like that, right? And social anxiety, obviously. So let's not glamorize that. What can start as a, oh, little vacation, yay for me. You should be able to have those breaks and regroup and let your social battery build back up, right? But that can easily turn into your only social interaction is posting a TikTok of you showing your depression room, right? Of you bed rotting, and what we're seeing now, making it an aesthetic. Depression core. In general, a lot of people my age are obsessed with the whole aesthetic thing. You ask a random Kamala voter, why are you voting for her? Brat. Right, what policies do you like? Brat. She's so brat.
Harris's biggest accomplishment to date as vice president.
I don't know.
She was she was a very good vice president.
That's an interesting question. Getting to vice president.
What a riveting conversation. Tell me more. Coconut?
Just fell out of a coconut tree?
Coconut is funny, haha, yeah. Thank you, Goldfish. It's the aesthetic. Right. Can we focus on the problems in our country and how she's promising to fix those issues? No? Aesthetic? Okay, yeah.
I have to do more research on her, honestly. I'm just glad to see a woman of color in charge for once. That's it.
I haven't followed her political career that closely.
This is a good one. I don't know.
Like I said, you listen to people who are genuinely struggling with this. They don't enjoy living like that. They wish they can go and socialize, but they struggle with it. So again, yet another reason we should not be romanticizing this and hoping that a future pandemic will force people into that kind of lifestyle. And that's all for today's video, guys. I also want to let you know that I have a new channel where I'm going to be posting more non-political content, right? So vlogs, food, ranting about various things. If you have any recommendations for what you would like to see on that channel, you can go ahead and comment. happened. And make sure you subscribe to that channel. I'm going to link it below. And remember to like and hit the notification bell. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.